me and you, we are so alike, but yet we're so different.
And that's what makes it beautiful, man.
God could be ministering to me in a certain way where I could be getting challenged to take a little risk because it's not as natural to me. At the same time, he's ministering to you and encouraging you to like slow down because you're more ready to take a risk.
I will take a risk. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't care. We'll figure it out. I have the faith, man. Let's go. Welcome back, everybody, to another conversation with your friends, Rhett and Justin, right here at Armchair Authentic, a podcast where we're having real conversations about real life with real people. Now, Justin and I have been doing life with each other for over 39 years, and we've got stories, we have conversations all the time, and we decided that we just wanted to steward our stories. We wanted to steward our relationships and even our conversations in a way that serve you. And that is what this podcast is all about. So if this is your first time with us, welcome, friends. It's so great to have you along for the ride today. Now, we don't want to waste a lot of time on the front end, so we're just going to go ahead and dive into the conversation right now. You guys ready? Here we go.
All right, Rhett. So another week of Armchair Authentic.
Let's go. Back in our house.
We
Our
are.
house.
We're
My
back.
house.
We're back in our original digs.
Yeah, we're at the kitchen table today. If you might hear a little bit of that echo in the background, that's because I don't have a lot of carpet. It's a hardwood floor.
Yes,
So,
and we're preparing for some stuff coming up today. So, but anyway, I was reading an article and it really caught my attention because it reminded me of me and my wife. And the reason I say that is I've told you before, I don't know how much we've mentioned it on the podcast, but we have found certain shows that we watch and we just watch the same thing over and over.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Just-
like Monk or something like that.
Yeah, like that.
The series or
Yeah.
like White Collar.
Yes, and I'm happy to drop
Well,
those
there's-
names because there is White Collar happens to be one of our shows.
Yeah.
And Psych.
Well, there's something comforting about having just something on in the background that you already know. It's like endless laughter. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I love this character. It's so
Yeah.
fun. I know what's about to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen. It's predictable. It's good to just wind down.
It can still suck you in though. It's like you even know what's happening. You've seen it 100 times. You're like, oh, I'm on the edge of my seat. What?
Don't do it. And then they do it. I hope he gets away. We know the answer. But still, we'll joke about it because I'm talking, Rhett, 2000 and I don't know, probably 2012.
Okay.
13. Like we've watched this show for 8 years at least, maybe even a little bit more.
Okay. What show is it?
Psych and White Collar.
Oh yeah. Well, I
And
knew
we
White
just-
Collar.
We
and I
just
knew
go
Monk,
over.
but
Yeah,
Psych.
and you got us in. You and a friend of ours kept telling us about Monk, and we gave that a try.
No way. No. Mm-mm.
What?
No, I got to correct you. I had no idea what Monk was. You told me about Monk.
Oh, my bad. Okay,
It was
yeah.
White Collar.
I cannot believe I got you into Monk.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You told me about Monk for a very long time, and I was like, this the name alone sounds absolutely.
gosh.
Why do I want to watch something about some Hindus up in a mountain or whatever? I don't know. Like I mean, like I don't even know what a monk is. No offense to my Hindu, people. Just like it just didn't interest me. It was like,
Christianity has some monks.
yeah,
But anyway,
well,
go
maybe
ahead.
that's it. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, there you go.
So I did.
I don't
get
know.
you
I
into
just think
that.
like
That's
a
right.
Buddhist or
get
Hindu
it.
type temples and different things. That's all that was in my mind. I
Yeah.
wasn't even
Yeah.
thinking through the Christian.
I do
like,
get it.
I guess.
I promise.
Like, hey,
It's where-
I'm 47 and I'm learning
It's
something
where
here.
Christian Bell on The Batman went up into the mountains.
There you go.
To learn. Remember, he went through the deal, and there's probably a bunch of monks up there. And
Well, all I remember is Inquire Gregorian chants. Somewhere
a
along
lot
the
of
line.
ones and fives.
Yeah, 1, 5, 1,
Yeah.
but it's like, la, la. And then what was funny, I know I'm totally messing with your
No, this
story.
is good.
But what's the, there was a song in like the late 80s or 90s. Oh, man. What was it? What's the band? Oh, Depeche Mode. I think that was it. Did they have some songs that were maybe, I don't know if it was Depeche Mode or something. I don't know.
Or they jump into some of the Gregorian chants.
They got this like Gregorian chants. It may not be Depeche Mode.
I remember Jars of Clay did that on one song.
Somebody like John Ross right now is going, no, it's this song right now. It's this artist. Get it together, Rhett. Come on. I'm on my run. He's going to stop. He's like texting me right now. This is the song you're talking about.
He would probably know.
He probably would.
Yeah.
So, but it's got this whole like Gregorian thing. And so when I think of Monk, I think of that, which has its place. But I'm like, I don't really want, like, I don't know why you watch this show.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah. Well,
that's all I thought
now
about
I'm
Monk.
trying to think back on what bands did that. But I said a while ago, Jars of Clay, because they had the song, This Is the One Thing That I Know. Remember, it was like,
oh yeah. Well, it was kind of popular then. Yeah, you had Sting doing dude. If you want to hear some crazy funky music, that guy's the most creative. He'll play, he'll pull out an instrument and he'll make his own instrument. He's like, hey, I got some trash cans and strings to put together and record it. You know,
yeah. Well, it's like, and when you think of chords, you know, mostly pop music, you stick to the 1, 4, 5, 6 chords. If you're not a musician, I know that might not make sense.
He's doing diminished stuff.
He's got all kind of modalities going where he's jumping in and borrowing from different. It's a lot of borrowed chords.
It's
taking
amazing.
us back to our music theory days at UAB. Yeah, shout out Blazers.
And I love it. And like, it was so funny. I know we'll get back to what you were saying, but if I don't speak to this, I'll forget.
Yeah.
I was actually playing a song the other day. And Linda was like, what are you playing? I'm like, this is Sting. She's like, I hate this.
Really?
I was like, how do you hate this?
He's so good.
It's amazing. And she's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what country we're living in right now. I feel like there's this verge of like all these different Middle Eastern and European type sounds with a little bit of acoustic in there. But like, she's like, I can't figure it out. I'm like, well, that doesn't say anything about the guy you married. Like, because all of that complexity of sound and beautification of just the creative. I'm like, God, you don't hear these instrumentations anywhere else. No. You've got to pull out Sting. Or
I remember
there's probably other
morning,
artists that are like it, but
like a morning talk show had Sting. This is probably back in 2002, and it was like Fields of Gold, song like that.
Yeah, come on, man.
But it's just him on his acoustic guitar.
Yeah,
and it's some triple meter song, and as an acoustic lover, I'm just sitting there watching, thinking, that's amazing. Oh, I mean, I instantly, like, on my couch the rest of the day trying to write a song like that.
I have the soundtrack going in my head right now.
God, like, it's so good.
Upon the fields of Bali, right?
So good.
I don't remember the words.
When we walk through fields of gold.
I never seen promises. Yeah, likely, whatever. Man, it's just his accent, man, goes along with like the in the 2000s when like Hillsong showed up and you got Shout to the Lord and you got all the worship leaders going, come on, church, hallelujah.
Yeah.
And it's like every song you want to sing. I know we've talked about this before, but it's like every song is like, the accent is like, God, why did you? That's why Delirious was so popular. We were singing Delirious in the car. Promise we'll get back to your thought.
Oh, you're good. This is why we're scalable every week.
Yeah, we were singing Delirious in the car. Oh, man. What was it? Oh, God. I should actually remember the things
History
I talked about
Maker?
before. Well, no, there was another one, Delirious. Yeah, History Maker's great.
Did you feel the mountains tremble?
Yeah, keep going.
What would I have done if it wasn't for Jesus?
Oh, man, it's amazing. You remember these songs.
Oh, I love Delirious.
Oh, man, it was another one that was really popular. Anyway.
Thank you for the chance to live again. I will run. It was like called August. It had a name like August 13th.
And so I just walked always going
always for you.
Always for you. Like, everything sounds so cool when you talk like this. And I can't even do it correctly. But like free coffee, you'll love our app. I'm reading my coffee cup. Oh man!
I remember
restrictions apply.
I was telling my wife this. We were at Taco Bell. I'm not Taco Bell, but I don't know where that comes from. We were at Starbucks. We were at Starbucks the other day.
Yeah.
And she ordered a drink called a cortada. Well, now it's a little more known, but I was actually hosting some artists one time.
Can I have a cortado?
And
that's how they say it in the South.
Well, I'll host a lot of people, and so I wanted to host them right and. I wanted to get their drink orders, like what coffee they wanted. And they gave, whatever. But this one in particular person said, I'll take a cortada.
A cortada.
And I didn't want to say I didn't know what that is. I was like, so cortada, right? He said, yeah, cortada. I was like, got it. Well, then I went to go study anything I could about what is a cortada, how do you make it.
Okay.
So I started calling baristas around like these bougie coffee houses that, we've talked about Mark Clement hangs out at.
Oh, yeah.
I'm calling all these places like, how do you make a cortada? And some of these places had never heard of a cortada. Finally.
Really? That's
no,
interesting.
It is. But this is like back in probably 2008, 2009.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember this.
Yeah. You actually played for him.
Yeah.
So that's around that year.
Yeah. That was so fun.
That was cool. You got to get up there and play.
Yeah, you did too. We did it together.
That's true. Well, now I was in host mode, so I didn't
play. You played guitar on that Sunday.
I can't even remember. Did I?
Yes, you did.
I guess I did.
You stood right beside me.
I might have music directed.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Now I'm
sorry.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
We've played so many times. I mean, it's a blur. But anyway. Looked up to him a lot. I really wanted to knock out this drink order.
Yeah.
And so I finally got a hold of somebody, and they told me what was in or cortada. And
what is we ended cortada?
Up. And now you're asking me, and now I forgot.
Coffee.
Yeah, it's
espresso.
It's espresso with cream, and it's like a perfect blend of both.
Perfect blend of both.
And I'm saying it wrong. You can look it up now because as I'm telling Summer the story 2 weeks ago, she looks up what's in a cortada because I was like, remind me what's in it. And you'll probably find this in just a minute, Rhett, if you want to look it up. But so anyway, it just made me think about, God, I got to nail this drink order for this person because, when you appreciate music like people like that or people like Sting or, I mean, you want to know what their coffee order is. It's like, okay, I need to learn that drink because I might have to try that myself.
Yep.
And it was really, really good.
Well, if anybody is interested, a cortado is a Spanish coffee drink. Cortada. But it's spelled cortado.
Okay. It is in Alabama.
If you're in Alabama, it's cortado.
Yeah, part of the potato family.
But a cortada is literally cortado. Cortado is a Spanish coffee drink. Made with equal parts espresso and steamed milk.
Yes.
Hey. Typically served in a small glass or a cup, often 4 ounces. Gibraltar glass. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's espresso glass. All right. So the milk is warmed and steamed, but not heavily frothed or foamy.
Yep. That's
creating
good.
a balanced, strong, and smooth coffee
It's
experience.
a great drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
2 shots of espresso resulting in a strong concentrated coffee flavor with the steamed milk 1-to-1 ratio, smaller size.
Yeah. So you get 4 ounces basically.
Yeah.
2 ounces of espresso, 2 ounces of the steamed milk, but not frothy.
So you're getting the kick without all the feeling overly bloated with the liquid.
Which is funny because they hand me my cup and it's just light.
You're like, what, is this a nut? I don't think this is right.
And I remember going back to him in faith, like,
oh, dear God.
They were actually playing on the stage, and I was going to walk up during sound check, and I hand it to them, and you're just handing it, hoping that he doesn't take it. Like, in America, we're so like, it's got to be 20 ounce, man. I got a 20 ounce venti in my hand right now as we talk. But I hand it, and he was like, and he took it. He didn't flinch at the weight. So I'm thinking, so far so good. He took a sip.
Yeah,
and he's like, "It's bloody good, mate."
What's funny about that?
Like, thanks, man.
Oh man, it reminds me. I didn't know who I was playing with. Right, I literally didn't know the songs. I had no idea the influence. I didn't realize the songs that I grew up singing in the '90s were really songs that these guys wrote, right? I had no idea. I knew the places that they came from, but I had no idea. And so here's Rhett. This is the honest truth. I am this way with everybody, and you either love it or hate it, but I'm just myself wherever I go. So I'm not impressed by all that different things and titles or whatever, whoever you're with, but I literally was like, man, bro, I said, I had no idea. I didn't realize that you wrote all the songs that I grew up singing for the most part that were very influential and powerful. And I started naming. I said, I literally, I'm sitting here in the back looking up, I'm Googling your name. I'm like, oh my God, this is what I'm playing with. And I told him, and he just kind of smiled. I think it might have been refreshing for him because I said, dude, thank you. And I literally just said, thank you for just being faithful to write these songs. Like, this is awesome.
That's so
it
good.
has made a huge impact in my life. And I know it has for a lot of people, but number one, I love the music. Number two, I had no idea, but it's an honor to be part of this.
It is. So, well, it's funny because you tell that story. On the flip side, I knew that one of them was a very prolific songwriter.
But you never told me. Like we did. You were sure. We were just there was. I mean, not disconnected, but there was a weight of hosting and different stuff going on.
There was. We were. Yeah. And but the other, I did not really. Honestly, I didn't know the name. The other kind of household name to me. The other.
Is there a reason we're not saying the names right now?
Yeah, I'm just not much of a name guy. Okay. Yeah, I would just say.
It doesn't matter. I mean, we had Talkbox on, Grammy Award winner. Why in the world can't we call these guys up? Yeah. Just say it. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
Oh goodness,
it's fun.
So
it's a part of our story. It's not like who cares, but it does bring into context a little bit.
It is. So it was Reuben Morgan.
Yes, that's the guy. Was like, I had no idea.
Yeah. Prolific songwriter.
And some people listen out like, I don't even know who Reuben Morgan is. Google him.
Wrote a lot of significant worship songs that we sang, and then the second was Ben Fielding, who who is a very prolific songwriter, but I had zero clue. I thought he may have just been the right-hand man, kind of travel companion, electric guitarist with Reuben.
Yeah.
And so I just remember hosting him one day, and I'm trying to make some small talk with him. Mm-hmm. And I asked him, I said, so do you write music too? And you know when you ask that question and you instantly think, I shouldn't have asked that. And I still remember we're at the red light about to turn on to this Highway 280.
They're the most down to earth people. They trust me. They love the authenticity.
Yes,
because
enough time has passed. It's been 17 years. That's a long time ago. I can't believe it.
I know.
But the story finally comes out. But I still remember being at the red light. If a lot of our listeners wouldn't know Alabama. 550 cities now, 43 states. So
that are reaching,
that we're reaching. But where we live in Birmingham, I'm kind of at this red light, pulling out onto what is a very trafficky road in our city in Birmingham called Highway 280. I'm at this red light, about to take a left onto 280, and I'm just making some small talk with him. So you write songs too? And he's like, yeah,
mate.
And I just instantly regretted it. And I kind of looked through my rearview mirror, and Reuben was kind of in the back seat to the right. And I just saw him kind of glance up towards his friend. Yeah. And he had just kind of like a little light smirk.
Yeah.
Like he kind of probably liked his buddy, got a little humbled.
Yeah.
And so
they were humble people. They
so
really
humble.
were. They loved it.
And I just drove him on, and instantly when I had a chance to myself, I started looking up his name, and I realized like, oh my goodness. I mean, any of these songs, Mighty to Save.
Mighty.
You begin a lot of.
Well, Reuben and Ben wrote that. I think that was one of the most people are going to know that song.
Yeah.
Mighty to Save.
Awakening. Yeah. I mean, a lot of these songs, there's a lot now that he's actually has been a part of lately. But just even fresh songs in the body of Christ.
100%.
All that to be said, it was pretty funny. But so it was Ben that I made the cortata for. Yeah. And he loved it, and it was great. So that's what got us on the coffee talk.
I remember our conversations, I try my best not to talk shop with people like that as much as I can, because I love connecting with people, their story, their culture, and different things. And we started talking about real estate, man. We were talking about the difference in real estate between Australia and here. And not that I'm a real estate expert, because I'm not, but we were talking about taxes and the difference of what a 1,200 square foot home costs versus, what a 1,200 square foot home would cost in Australia.
Goodness.
Australia. You can't even, Australia. Aussie. All our friends in Australia that are actually listening to us right now and giving us a hard time, like, will you just talk like we like your accent?
They like ours. They like y'all.
Y'all. And so, anyways, good people, wonderful people. That has nothing to do with the context of our conversation, but this is what we do, guys. We go down rabbit trails.
It drifted, and it was a good drift.
We're gonna rewind this.
And Rhett talked me into dropping a name. I'm not one to drop names, but 17 years removed, right? 17 years removed. That's how I'll justify it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who cares?
So,
all right.
I have to give rightful credit back to how we began this. It wasn't you who got us into Monk.
No.
It was two of my friends, me and Summer's friends, Alger and Tracy. Yep. They're the ones who kept telling me to watch Monk, and we did. We loved it. Now rewind further. I had to give them their rightful credit.
That is a
it.
very good show. I wish I wouldn't have waited so long, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad I did because I could binge watch it and I had to wait till the next week.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Also with me, White Collar though and Psych has seemed to really stick with me in summer.
Yeah.
So those are the shows we constantly go back to, and we'll make jokes sometimes like, man, I guess we're just that boring married couple here because it's just we love watching it, and what we do is we'll play Game Pigeon every night.
Oh,
we will
against each other.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
We will school anybody who wants to challenge us. We will wipe the floor with you on pool.
All right, you gonna put your phone number out there? So
Word
people can
hunt.
Do this? No. Come on, man. Come on. What's that number? Area code 205.
For years. For years.
You're putting the challenge out there for people to do this.
Well, that allows me to talk the smack, and no one can actually make me back it up.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But
that's funny.
But we will play that every night, and we'll watch our show. So we love it. We love us. That's just, and we're content with it. But I came across an article the other day, and I sent it to Summer because I thought we knew what we were doing all along. And here's what it says.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. People who repeatedly watch the same movies and shows are emotionally.
Hey friends, just want to take a moment and say, if you are enjoying today's conversation, could you do us a huge favor? Would you take a moment and copy the link from your favorite podcast platform and share it with a friend? Email it to a friend. How about airdropping it over to your buddy or your sister right now? Man, that would mean so much to us. Thank you. All right, guys, back to the conversation.
People who repeatedly watch the same movies and shows are emotionally intelligent, a study says. Okay. So a study published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that rewatching familiar content is often used as a form of emotional regulation.
Yeah, there you go.
Rather than being driven by boredom or lack of imagination, it's a way to manage stress and provide comfort during periods of uncertainty.
Yeah.
Number one, the ending is predictable. The emotions are familiar, and the brain doesn't have to work as hard. This predictable environment helps reduce mental fatigue, calm the nervous system, and restore emotional balance, making it especially common among those with high anxiety or overstimulation. All right, so the researchers also noted that individuals who rewatch shows repeatedly tend to score higher in emotional intelligence, empathy, and introspection. They're more likely to form deep emotional connections with characters and use stories as tools for self-reflection and stress relief. In many cases, this behavior becomes part of a healthy emotional routine, offering a reliable, low-stress experience that supports mental well-being. So while it may look like just watching the same thing over and over for many, it's actually a subtle and effective way to recharge. So all of my friends out there who watch the same thing over and over and over, and you have labeled yourself as boring, I'm here to tell you, you are emotionally intelligent beings. Welcome. Welcome to that club.
That's really good. That's really good. I wrote in Google really quick. People who watch shows consistently says, what about you? And all of that is absolutely true. But I love, it says AI overview. In everything that you just said, often people do this for emotional comfort and a sense of familiarity, right?
Yep.
Which can be beneficial for individuals experiencing anxiety or needing break from mental stress. Are you experiencing any anxiety in your life these days?
It's a good reset for me because I sit with a lot of people and hear a lot of their mental stress.
You do. And then it says these people may feel a sense of control or a connection to their past, and the familiarity can reduce cognitive load. And everything that you just said, like we always are connecting to our past and what God has done, doing all the wonderful stuff, right? And the familiarity and just the sense of traditions. And you're a tradition guy. Like part of me is like, I'm like, I need to be more like Justin. I have zero traditions. Like, but you're like, everything you do. Oh, this is a new tradition. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, this is anybody that knows Justin knows like Fridays, all the stuff. And it's great. And that's
take my boys out for lunch.
And
I go ride at Starbucks.
Yeah.
I walk the Botanical Gardens.
I think the only tradition I have, man, is just like, what's something new I can do? I don't know. And that says a lot about me. And I'm like,
but that's an adventurous side of you though. But
yeah,
I think that's
it's
good.
probably
It's the
the
whole roots
escape
and
from all
wings
the-
kind of deal. You got to have you do have to have an adventure.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that people have a home base somewhere. And I know I used the show, and that's a form of it, but there is importance to have something that attaches you somewhere. You know, I think about, remember before you moved to Idaho to plant a church, me and you were in town, and it was like gold when we got to spend the time together, like, because you weren't always in town. And so I remember we went back to our original destination where we met. So we drove to Twin Gates East Apartments.
Well, what was formerly known as Twin Gates East. I don't know.
It was Twin Gates East, and it's pretty dilapidated, broken down. And we were there, and we stood in the same spot where we first threw throwing stars.
If you want to Google it, I don't know the
And
name.
met each other.
I don't know the name of the name of the apartment complex now. But if you look up the Birmingham area, go to Huffman Road and Old Springville Road. Those two.
Yeah,
and go to Google Maps.
you could even look at a place called Costa's Barbecue.
Yeah, there's a Costa's Barbecue.
It's
there.
right across the street.
But it's good. Yeah, man, that's got me thinking. What in the world? Let me.
I mean,
what is the name of that place?
my address then was 703J Old Springville Road. Mm-hmm. Because
mine was 1057K.
Because I was angled and I could see your apartment, and because you were more parallel. We weren't necessarily parallel. I was angled more towards Old Springville Road. You were right on Huffman Road, so you were 1033.
Springville Landing Apartments is what they're called.
Oh, great. Okay.
But yeah, I was on 1050. Oh, that's so weird. I'm looking at this map, and it's like Springville Road kicks in here, and then Huffman Road here. That's so wild.
Yeah, so that's why mine. Do you look at, if you can see my apartment pattern?
Yeah,
it's angled more with Springville Road. That's why I was Springville Road and you were Huffman Road. Yeah, even though we were right beside each other.
Yeah, so do a quick little Google search: 1057K Huffman or 703J Springville Road,
so
and you'll see where we grew up.
There's something powerful about having a landing spot, and so for you to do that, it almost, before you headed out, it kind of brought you back to some roots.
Yeah,
that you probably needed. And for me, the Botanical Gardens in Birmingham, if you're ever in Birmingham, beautiful place, the Birmingham Botanical Gardens, they have just a combination of so many different, different things, from Japanese gardens to, you can see so much.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And I've been, all my life, even as a young boy, my mama never drove a car. You remember that? My dad's mom never
her entire life.
Never.
Wow, different generation.
Yeah, she just,
because she didn't want to, or it just wasn't appropriate for that generation to drive one.
I think what was she just didn't want to.
Care.
Like her brother.
I cannot wrap my mind around people who
I have an uncle named Uncle Lem, short for Lemuel, but Lem, Lem. Yeah. And if our claim to fame, if you want to check out a Jack Daniels bottle, distiller is Lem Motlow.
I did not know that.
That's my family. You didn't know that?
No idea.
How did you know? I guess we don't talk about things.
Maybe if you did tell me that. Well, we don't sit around talking about Jack Daniels that much.
That's true.
So it's not.
But if you ever look on a bottle, it says the proprietor, the distiller is Lem Motlow.
Okay.
So
you're telling me that you're secretly wealthy.
Well, I thought we could be.
Alcohol.
Well, I did ask my dad. I said, Dad,
come on, man.
We are so closely affiliated with the Jack Daniels company. Like your uncle's name, or my uncle, his uncle technically.
Yeah.
Because it was his mom's brother, Lem Motlow. I called him Uncle Lem growing up too. Uncle Lem, it's Lem Motlow, which is his, higher up, his granddad.
Yeah.
I was like, how have we not seen any of this?
Where's our money?
He said, my dad's answer was, half the family has the money.
Yeah.
The other half drank it away.
Oh, okay.
We're on that side of the family.
Wow.
So evidently someone before us drank away our fortune. So every time that you go to a restaurant and there's like a Jack Daniels bottle, I look at it. I'm like, I don't drink it, but it's family.
Wow.
Evidently.
Interesting.
Jack Daniels was a part of the family. He was a distiller and a pastor.
You're telling me something that I don't know.
Family, this is family tree. You guys listening, you're filled I'm giving you some little family tree stuff here.
There was a song by T-Bone back in the 90s, Getting Drunk in the Spirit.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
La-di-da, la-di-diddy-da-di-day.
Well, see,
if you've never listened to that song,
take you back there.
Oh my gosh, go listen to T-Bone. Drunk in the Spirit. That'll tell you what I grew up on, man.
Taking me back to early 90s.
So pastor,
so Jack Daniels,
an evangelist.
Yes, yeah. He was making alcohol,
Wow,
or bourbon, whiskey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no idea.
But he was also he had a congregation. And you had the days too of prohibition.
Was this like Andy Griffith days where, like, a
little bit probably
Otis had his little underground distillery somewhere where it was illegal?
No, it was known. It was known. It was just like once.
So everybody knew
I
he made it.
remember this right. Oh yeah,
I bet you his church was fastly growing.
Maybe it was.
Hey, pastor.
But there was a fork in the road, and he had to make a decision at some point. And I don't know if I can't remember if it's prohibition that kicked in, where it demonized alcohol. I don't know what part it was, because at some point he was able to do both.
Wow.
He had to make a decision. He chose preaching, and his nephew, Lim Motlow, took the distillery from him.
Wow.
Basically became the owner, bought it from him.
I didn't know that.
So that's why Jack Daniels, you'll see under every bottle, Lim Motlow. Okay. Now I'm taking you back. So down through our line of family, like, Lim also had, in his family, which led to my Uncle Lim, which was really my great uncle. He and my grandmother moved to Birmingham because we were from, if you know where Jack Daniels is from, it's Lynchburg, Tennessee. That's where we're all from. We're Lynchburg, Tennessee people. They moved to Birmingham. That's how, and then my dad was born in Birmingham. So that's where we come from, Birmingham. And so, they end up he takes her everywhere. She never drives. She just never learns how to drive a car. She lived in these apartments that you could walk everywhere.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it's in the Mountain Brook area, if you're familiar with Birmingham.
Those apartments don't exist anymore.
They tore them down and rebuilt them.
That hotel, they rebuilt them?
Oh,
I thought the hotel and
there's
everything
still
was over there.
Lane Park is still there, and they built the Grand Bohemian.
Yeah.
So the Grand Bohemian, and there's the apartments.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah, right behind Grant. It's surrounded by apartments.
Okay.
Those are the rebuilt Lane Park.
Okay.
And so that's where my grandmother lived. So she would always take me and my brother. My dad would drop us off either before he went to work, single dad. He'd drop us off there. And she was the grandmother who, I won't get caught up on this, but she was the grandmother who could cook, do all the great stuff, and you would enjoy the best food. Okay. But she would walk us. We would walk to the store and go maybe to the variety store, but also get like food and drinks, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But we'd walk everywhere. But then she would take us to the Botanical Gardens, and me, my brother, and her would walk. So whenever you hear me mention like the Botanical Gardens, it's a special place for many reasons, but I can take it back to like my childhood.
It's a monument.
It is.
It's a reminder. That's what Twin Gates was for me, going to where we met each other.
And there's a memorial. Yeah, it's a place that I can go. It resets me when I'm going through something. Maybe I've gone through seasons where I've gotten a little big for my britches.
If you don't realize, if you forget where you came from, you got to go back and go look at what God has done. I mean, this is where I was living. This is what my life was, and I was a, single dad, raised in a single father. How do you call that? I was raised by a single dad, right? In these moments where the world would say you should be a statistic, and you go back and look and like, wow, look at what God's done. That to me, that's what going back to Twin Gates East, whatever Springville Landing is now. I'll never call it that.
No,
to those moments of going, wow, thank God loved me enough to connect me there, and
for that moment,
for those moments
in time, and we can go back there. I can go back for childhood to the gardens. A cool thing about the gardens too is when me and Summer first met and went on our first quote date. I didn't pick it; she did. We went to the Botanical Gardens. So like March of '97.
There's a lot there. Yeah.
We're at the Botanical Gardens. I proposed to her in September of 1999.
Yeah.
On the Red Bridge in the Japanese gardens of the Birmingham Botanical Gardens. So I go there at least every other week, sometimes a couple of times a week. It's rare that I'm not there, and I will go to that bridge and I'll stand on it, and it takes me back.
It's like watching the TV shows over and over and over again.
There's something about it. It resets, it grounds you. And it's almost like the roots and wings that that Linda, your wife, talked about before. Like you got to have roots, but like like Rhett Barden is a wings kind of guy.
I am. I don't need the roots as much as, I mean, of course I need roots for sure, but I am more of a, like, let me get out there and explore and adventure. And, you know, I don't know, that just for me. And so that's been, I think that's one of the difficult things of being back in Alabama for me. And not that it's difficult. Okay. I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful. God's doing amazing things. So don't get it twisted. But I'm just not used to having my feet in the same place for a very long time. Right. And I'm grateful for the season that I'm in, that I get to kind of have roots and wings at the same time, where I felt, you know, anyway.
That's a great example.
It's just,
well, you
and
were
it's
such
okay.
a rarity.
I thought I was weird growing up. Like, I was like, why am I jacked up? Like, everybody else is okay with living in the same place for their entire life. No offense. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Yeah. But there's probably deeper emotional issues and trauma that has happened that's created those things in me. But maybe I'm just wired that way too. I don't know.
I think there's a wiring too. There is.
It's the evangelistic side of me.
You know, I was studying a theologian. I was studying. It may have been Dallas Willard, who I've quoted a lot throughout the history of this podcast. But from what he says, God will tend to take you on this journey where.
Hey guys, Rhett here. Just want to take a moment and say thank you to every single one of you who have taken the time to follow us on social media. Now, if today is your first time to join us for an episode, man, we want to say welcome, friends. It's so good to have you with us. Could you take a moment, look us up on Instagram or Facebook? You can find us there at Armchair Authentic, or you can go on over to X, find us there as well at Armchair Auth Pod. That's Armchair Auth, AUTHPOD. All right. Now back to the conversation.
From what he says, God will tend to take you on this journey where me and you, we are so alike, but yet we're so different.
And that's what makes it beautiful, man.
It's really cool, but he'll take you, we're both, I mean, literally within a month or maybe even 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally got home from a beach trip. A week or two later, you gave your heart to Jesus, surrendered, rededicated.
Yeah.
So we're on the same journey coming up on 32 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but God could be ministering to me in a certain way where I could be getting challenged to taking a little risk because it's not as natural to me. At the same time, he's ministering to you and encouraging you to slow down because you're more ready to take a risk.
I will take a risk. Let's go. Yeah. I don't care. We'll figure it out.
So
let's
just jump
off
journey.
The building, and God's gonna. I have the faith, man. Let's go. Take the step. Jesus is gonna catch me. You know,
and that's
please don't do that. I'm just giving some.
He makes us better, and that's where you get the iron sharpening iron because you do learn from each other, and there's not just a one size fits all.
Yeah.
We're all wired so different. And the beauty of this journey is you're kind of learning to discover that. So you might think something's wrong with you. I might think something's wrong with me. And really it's not. There's natural wiring, but there is the process. As we've said before, there's a process of growth and stepping out of where it would be like me saying, I'm not going to do something. And God's like, nah, that's a fear of man issue. You need to overcome that fear.
Yeah.
With yours, it might be like, I'm ready to go do this. And God's like, no, I want you to just sit
it's
still.
very true. And I married a roots girl. Yeah. She grew up pretty much in the same place all her life, lived in the same home. And then she married me and we've moved 17, I think, times. And that's not an evangelistic number. Yeah. That's real.
Yeah.
My son's been in, I think, 6, if not 7 different schools.
Yeah.
And some people are like, oh my Lord. I'm like, yeah. But to me, it's like, whoo, let's go. Let's keep moving. We're at year 3. It's so funny. We're at year 3 right now. July will be 3 years removed from Idaho. Blows my mind. I'm
Crazy.
Like, what in the world for me? And so I'm like, Linda, like, okay, what house we get next? Where are we going now? We're not going anywhere. I'm just saying. But I say never.
Kidding.
I'm not saying never.
You never say never, but
but because that's been such a natural rhythm for us in seasons of life that God was a part of every single one of it. It wasn't like I was just out here running rogue. But it's kind of nice to really be at a season of life to where I go, hey man, there is a lot of peace in the slowing down. And I've always been content, but I'm so much more content than I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
And there's just this piece of rootedness that I'm experiencing right now. And it's just great. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And I honestly, if I'm being very blunt, I'm kind of over the whole idea of getting out there and moving and restarting over again. It's a different season right now.
It is.
I'm not saying, I kind of feel as if this is where we're going to be, for quite a while. But still being able to have the experience of traveling and doing some pretty neat things for Christ and the gospel kind of keep me fired up too. So it's like
roots and wings.
It's the roots and wings things.
You're here,
the roots
you can
and wings
still
things.
you can be here so that you can be there.
Yeah,
so that you can come back to here.
Yeah, and exactly. And no matter what season you're in, as to your point, it's God wants to do something to me, wants to do something to you, and it's all good.
Yeah. I still have people, they'll double ask me. They'll be like, what? When I tell them what you do.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I'm like, he's an executive pastor in Idaho?
Yeah.
But he lives in Birmingham? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you say, hey, I'm an online executive assistant to a company in California, they're like, oh, I get that.
Yeah.
No problem.
It's true.
I get that. Oh, you can administrate an office from virtual. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't administrate offices, but
Well, once I explain it,
concept.
When I explain it to people, they're like, oh, wow, that's brilliant.
Well, it's brilliant because Pastor Clay is such an amazing guy to create a space for that to happen and see the value in it, because there is a value add on both sides for him, for the church, for us, our family, and as well as what God is calling us into and what we're getting to do now. So, man, relationships are everything. So,
well, it also came from your heart too of you love serving, and you had just, I think back to you had just handed your church, like stepped into founding pastor. Mm-hmm. You handed it, like we had brought in this new pastor.
Right.
And the church is still going. It's still
they're
going
crushing
strong.
It. They just sent 30-something kids and youth to Mexico. Man.
Yeah,
for amazing. A missions trip. Yeah. Let's go.
I know, and
that's awesome.
It's so crazy because when you were there, the world had shut down. You couldn't really get the mission. You didn't even about the point you're ready to start launching missions. It's like we're shutting the world down.
We were doing missions through our giving.
That's right.
And we were in infancy. You have to you got to learn how to crawl and walk before you can run, right? And so,
but I think back on that, and now the benefits of the foundation you laid, they're doing that. But what was cool is
it's awesome.
You love serving, but you have this awareness, and it's hard with the former chief being in the room with the new chief. It would have been tough for you coming and serving your church. It would have been like they would have been deferring to you the whole time. So you graciously, for the new pastor to step in so he can be successful, you step out. But I love how your mindset is, I still am going to go serve my local church. And you had a relationship with Clay 2 hours away. And you would drive there every weekend just to serve him. And what I think is cool, you had this few-month period where you're selling your house. You had already taken care of Linda and Max to get them to Birmingham, help make sure everything is set and taken care of. So you handled your responsibility. Now your next responsibility, getting your house ready, getting it sold, all that stuff. You didn't know what would happen, but it's cool how y'all's relationship fused so that when you're now going to head home, y'all had done so much life together, and it made sense for him to even extend that, because he, like you said, obviously he's an amazing pastor, but he also saw the benefit. And y'all have had this cool team dynamic where you're doing what you're doing now. And who knew that it would be 3 years later? But it just says a lot that there was nothing necessarily in it for you personally, other than, which is a huge other than, I'm going to go serve my brother who's 2 hours, and I'm going to just serve until I go home, and then we'll figure out what's going to happen.
So it's really cool, man. That whole story is amazing. I didn't think we were going to get into that, but I appreciate you, honoring that journey. What was really cool, I was thinking about multiplication through this because of his faith, his love, and his trust, and just openness that to allow this to happen. This weekend, he was in Meridian, Idaho, preaching for a brother, offering relief there.
Cool.
I was in Wetumpka, Alabama, offering relief to a pastor.
Nice.
And his wife was preaching in Idaho at the home church. So we had it was just cool to see how God is just building this relief thing to where we're able to do this, in other places. It was really cool, man, because it just, I don't know, it's just kind of expanding out and being a little bit more kingdom minded outside of just your local branch of ministry to help brothers and sisters across the country.
Relief pastors.
So, man. So anyway, hey, I'd love to keep talking. I know that this episode is going to be a little bit shorter.
We're not used to a shorter episode.
Due to some,
I mean, it's going to be a short 40 plus minutes.
Yeah.
We had a streak of an hour plus podcast episodes.
Oh, man.
I have a feeling it's coming to an end for our little summer series.
Well, hey, this was fun just to get to connect and just laugh a little bit and go down some roads. Did we get back to the main point where we were headed? Was it from the beginning? We closed the gap there.
Oh yeah, we went back and talked about that
Yep.
it's a sign of emotional intelligence.
Yes.
That you're not throwing everything new at yourself all the time. It's okay if you're watching the same shows.
Okay.
Just like it's okay if you're walking the same gardens. There's nothing that says you can't be rooted in a place, because you'll find more than not that it's your rootedness that will actually create the opportunity for your wings.
Hey friends, thank you so much for joining us on today's conversation. We cannot wait until our next episode that drops next Monday. So until then, we hope you have a great day, stay safe, and we will see you soon right here with your friends, Rhett and Justin at Armchair Authentic.